Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast with your hosts George Junias
and Maria Petrakou. Now today's episode is a request from quite a few of you, so here we are once again to inspire your vacation to the Greek islands and present those islands that you don't need a car. And we will give you some short and sweet tips and tricks for each of the ones we're going to recommend. Right, George?
We are indeed, and this is actually perfect for me as well. Personal request, because it's the islands that I'm probably going to do when you're not there, because usually when we're traveling you are always the main driver. I come with like the car entertainment, and you always get us out of those sticky situations in the car. However, when we're not together, sometimes I will drive, although I would probably like something a little more stress-free, so no car for me. But before we drive, or not drive anywhere, if you're not following us on Instagram, head over and hit that follow button on the Insta handle, which you all should know by now, which is at My Greek Island.
Exactly. And if you enjoy the podcast, please head over to the podcast platform of your choice and give us a rating or maybe a review if you can, because it does help us keep coming back with more content.
So, without further ado, let's get into today's episodio.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island, with your hosts George and Maria.
So as we said at the start of today's episode, it's all about the islands you can do without the need for a car.
Exactly. Now we've curated a short list of what we think those islands should be. And if you listen to the episode and you think we should have had a few other islands on this list, then please get in touch, let us know. And who knows, we might come back with another episode just to talk about the island that you recommended.
Yep, I am sure we will do, because there are so many islands, there are 227 for that matter, and I'm sure many more that you can do without a car. And as Maria said, we absolutely love to hear from you. So do send in your requests, because we absolutely love reading them, even though it gives us extra work. That's what we're here for. So let's dive into the episode with the help of some jazzy drumroll music that we're going to put in.
So, drum roll please. Right, my Greek Islanders, first up on the list is Agkistri, a tranquil oasis of nature. George, can you give us an overview, especially since you've been there without me?
I have, and the description you've used, I think it's already like, even if I haven't been there, I would want to go by what you said. So the first island that we're going to talk about, very small, in the Saronic Gulf, which is near Athens. It's just a short ferry ride from Athens, less than 1 hour on the Flying Dolphin. Now, if you're feeling brave and you don't get seasick, you can take this. But if the sea is a bit rough or you have a fear of getting seasick, take the bigger ferry, which will take slightly longer and usually goes via Aegina, which is just across the water, and then obviously goes to Athens. It is ideal for a day trip or to spend a few days. On the island, you can get around by foot, by bus or by bicycle, although in high season, when it's very hot, you might want to take lots of water with you. The main thing I'm going to say for this island is if you do go there, you need to visit Aponissos Beach. It's a must visit. Make sure you take the bus early and do not leave it. Don't leave it too late to take the last back, because if you queue up without enough time or the bus gets too full, you might be left stranded. And I think there is only just one taxi on the island. You can cycle there from the main town, but it's quite hilly, might be a bit exhausting. I think if I go again this year, I would like to explore the east side of the island, which reading up includes a bit of walking, maybe trekking to get some of the beaches. Not sure my aunt will like that. I know you would like it, but we're not going to it together.
When you said if I go again this year, I was actually scared you were going to say if I go again this year, I'm going to bike it to Abonissos uphill.
If I was on my own, I would definitely bike it because you can also get e-scooters. So yeah, really good. We actually have a dedicated episode on Agkistri, which the episode link will be in the show notes that you can go and listen to, which is very good. So I think that wraps it up for Island 1, Agkistri. Should we head over to the next island?
Yes.
Okay, next island, drum roll please. Hydra, or some people might pronounce it Hydra, but it's Hydra. It's a captivating blend of history and of culture, and obviously Maria is going to do this one because that is all up her street, the culture.
Thank you. Thank you, George. At the time of this recording, the previous night we were at the theatre together, which George booked the ticket, so I think I need to take back that I have been calling him not as cultural as he should be. But anyhow, so Hydra, famous for its traditional architecture and rich maritime heritage. It is part of the Saronic Gulf, like Agkistri that we touched on previously. Now, this island is car-free. What that means is even if you want to take your car, you can't. So bear that in mind, and it's definitely a great island if you want to go and switch off because there will be no cars. It's ideal for short trips from Athens. It has frequent routes daily from Athens. In the summer especially, there's at least 5 routes per day. And the fast route is just over an hour, so it's about an hour and 20 minutes. It is well connected with other islands on the Saronic Gulf, like Boros and Spetses, and also parts of the Peloponnese. Now, the island offers historical landmarks, including the Hydra Museum of Historical Archives and the monastery of Agia Evpraxia. Famous beaches on the island include Pisti and Aios Nikolaos, which are accessible either on foot or by water taxi. Now, Hydra is a very popular destination for artists and writers, and in fact, The Guardian had written and characterized this island as the Greek island for dreamers. Now, I'm going to close the description with a fun fact that Leonard Cohen bought a house there in the 60s and spent a lot of time there. So I'm referring to Leonard Cohen, the Canadian singer, songwriter, poet, and novelist, which many of you will know who he is.
And also, very interestingly, I was recently on a hen do, and a girl on the hen do had a bag with Hydra on. I was like, oh, have you been to Hydra? And she's like, amazing island.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what did you like about it? It's like, we didn't need a car. And I was like, we're planning an episode on this. And she loved taking the water taxis to the beaches, which she absolutely loved. And she said as well, food was amazing. Although my answer was probably most places in Greece, you're going to have amazing food.
That's very true.
But yeah.
Amazing. All right. So shall we move on to the next island? Drum roll, please. Okay, guys. Next up is Spetses, known for its wealthy residents and its horse-drawn carriages.
So this is another island in the Saronic Gulf. It is very popular for yachting and sailing, as are these islands. You will see lots of yachts and sailing boats around because of their proximity to Athens. There are frequent routes from Athens daily, at least 5 per day in the summer. The fast one will take around 2 hours. It is known for its beautiful beaches, pine forests, and also historic architecture. I think it's safe to say, we haven't been to it, but I think it's been on a few films. Like one of the films I recently saw on Netflix, I think some of it is based in or located in Spetses. It exudes an air of sophistication with its neoclassical mansions, horse-drawn carriages, and idyllic beaches. Caveat, I don't think I would be taking the horse-drawn carriage, but each to their own.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I'm not sure if we mentioned it at the beginning, but it is also like Hydra, which is car-free. There are no cars on the island.
So you can explore it by foot. You can rent bicycles. And obviously, if you want, you can get a horse-drawn carriage. And you can discover the island's rich history at the Bubulina Museum. And two of its most well-known beaches include Agia Marina and Vrelos. And another thing to note here, from Athens, there are tourist excursions that can take you to like 2 or 3 islands within a day. So if you wanted to kind of hop on to certain islands, there are some sort of excursions that take you there, like just a few hours on each island, so you can get a flavour if you don't want to stay on the island themselves. So that could be something you could do, because all these 3 have been near in the vicinity of Athens. So you could choose to do that.
I'm not aware of these hop-on, hop-offs, George, but...
Well, it's not hop-on, hop-off, but it's
I'm
like
aware
a tourist
of the cruises
sort of...
that they do.
Yeah, cruises,
but,
my aunt just went on one with our cousin that came over from South Africa. And they did like Poros, Aegina, Spetses, and I think they did 4 in a day. It's a very, very long day, but they had a great time. But you don't get to explore the full amount of the island.
No, you probably just get an hour or 2 on each, right?
Yeah, you do. But you get a flavour. So if that's something for you.
I thought it was. I honestly thought it was just the cruises that to go to cover a few islands. I didn't know.
Well, I thought that, but you can book.
Interesting.
Like,
we should ask
trips.
your aunt to give us some tips.
She really loved it. Although the other aunt, she got seasick.
Oh dear.
She'd never been on a boat before.
I want to plug one thing about Spetses before we move on. That every year there is a Spetses mini marathon, which is a swimming race, which is very popular. It usually takes place in September. I think this year it's taken place end of September, and I think
which day? Oh, I'm not going to be there.
I think
it's swimming.
Yeah, it's swimming.
Okay, no, I'm not.
So I think it's a 1.5k open water and a 3k open water, from what I can see on the website. So yeah, FYI.
Well, I'd love to do that if I trained.
Yes. What, for swimming?
Amazing. Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next island. And this is taking us away from the Saronic Gulf. It's something slightly different. So, drum roll, please. Antiparos. It's an off-the-beaten-path island paradise, which sounds exactly like what my Greek island would recommend, which is why it's on here.
And it's also one of my favourite islands. I've actually been, I think, 3 or 4 times. It's located just off the coast of Paros. Unfortunately, Antiparos, although easy to get to, does not have a direct route to get to from Athens. You actually have to go through Paros. Although it's worth noting that Paros does offer a domestic airport with flights from Athens. Otherwise, to get there, you can take ferries from Athens or neighbouring islands to reach Paros. And when you reach Paros, you reach the port of Parigya. And from there, you can either, directly from the port of Parigya, you can get to Antiparos, or you can go to another port called Bunda, where you too can get to Antiparos. And the reason I'm mentioning the second port is because from that port, you have very frequent routes. I think they're about every 15 to 20 minutes and all day long. So from the port of Bunda, you can actually go for a day trip to Antiparos, or from Antiparos you can go for a day trip to Paros, because it's super easy to cross. I remember when I went one year, I stayed in Paros and we would go to Antiparos for a drink and then come back, and vice versa. Or another year I stayed in Antiparos and I went to Paros to have dinner and then came back. So it does make things super easier. And that route from the port of Bunda between Paros and Antiparos is about, I think it's a 7-minute journey. Like, it's literally that close. Now, it's a great tourist attraction in Antiparos, other than the fact that it's quite a secluded island, very laid back, very chilled, great food options, not too busy. And it also offers a cave, which is quite popular to visit. And I heard one of our followers went recently and really enjoyed it. And the most popular, just to note a few beaches, the most popular beaches include, I'm not sure if it's Soros, I think it's Soros Beach, and Agios Georgios, and both are easily accessible by foot or, with a local bus, whatever is available there. So it's a great island. I mean, this year I know for a fact it's become super popular because a few Greek celebrities are staying there for the entire summer. So it has become a bit of a popular place to go. But other years I can say that it was a more secluded and laid back and chilled island that you would go to relax.
The port it goes to in Paros, Bunda, is that the main town or not?
No.
Okay. Because in my mind I was thinking you could have like a bit, because I know Paros can be famous for like partying.
Yes.
So I was like, could you hop on the boat,
No.
get off, party, and then go back to the island? But it's not the same.
So the parties in Paros are in the town of Nausa, which is not where you
fine.
go. Yeah. So you would if you could go, but you would need some method of transportation to get from the port of Bunda to Nausa or Barigya, which is another place in Paros where you'd want to go for a drink or a meal. So,
nice.
But there are many taxis in Paros, so that does make things easier, I guess.
Also, can I just say a top tip that has come to my mind? I'm guessing the 10-minute ferry ride is not going to be expensive.
No, it's very cheap.
Okay, so you could do it at sunset and be like having a sunset cruise.
Well,
for like
not
10
really,
minutes.
because they're not normal boats. They're sort of what we call in Greece bandofles, like the one that me and you got from.
So it's not like a little like boat. It's like
No.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's like those big long ones, which are like not
the same
cruise
one.
ships, but
yeah,
like
the same one that we got when we
trucks.
went to Elafonisos.
Oh, okay. So it's not. I in
So
my mind I had like
you will not enjoy the sunset if you're on that.
like a river cruise vibe thing.
Yeah,
it's not. It's
no,
just
George.
like
So
where you
stop.
can load on.
No, hun.
Trucks. Okay, fine.
So don't
That's why
take
you're
the
here,
boat.
because I could have been like,
Yeah.
do that as a cruise. It's 10,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
10-minute cruise at sunset. Okay, fair.
Yeah, I can't let him do an episode by himself, my Greek Islanders, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
I would
get the
probably
boat from Bunda
recommended
from Mandibaros to Baros to watch the sunset. We do not recommend that. Anyway, shall we move on to the next island?
Let's.
Drum roll, please. So the next island is Gavdos, a remote escape to nature's embrace.
And this island we were toing and froing about going to this year. We were so close to
So
booking it,
true.
and then Astibalia took our heart, but it's still on the list.
Well, we were torn between Crete and Astibalia, and I think our listeners
We were,
voted
yeah.
where we're
It
going to
was,
go.
yeah, Crete and then doing this as well. This one, believe it or not, which it still blows my mind, that it's the most southernest inhabited island of Greece and Europe, just below Crete. Like I always thought Cyprus or like Malta was the most southernest.
Yeah, remember
but
when
this
we had that
actually is.
conversation when I said to you that Gavdos is the southernmost point of Europe, and you said to me, no, Cyprus is. I said to you, hun, it's actually
Yeah.
lower than Cyprus.
I know. I'm really good at geography, and that, so it is considered as a remote paradise. So somewhere that you can really switch off from. There's no rental vehicles available. Amazing. So it's an ideal destination for non-drivers. I think what characterizes it is the secluded and untouched nature. There's pristine beaches, which include Saragini and Agios Ioannis. And it's where you see it on the map, it's very remote and rugged, and has quite wild beauty. I think it's an ideal island to combine with Crete and kind of leaving the big island of Crete to switch off. It's best visited between May to September. It can get quite popular with campers during summer months. So if you like camping, you could have your backpack, check out the campsites if you want, or we would probably stay in a hotel or an Airbnb, And you can reach the island from various
I really
ports.
honestly, if the two of us end up going camping one day.
I actually would like camping.
Only in Glastonbury, hun.
No, not Glastonbury, because I want with nice toilets and stuff. But I actually would like camping because we wake up really early, so we wouldn't have to worry about it getting too hot. We'd be under a tree. But like wake up, have a bit of yoga, go for a dip, go for a run, live in the nature.
I think the only thing I like about the whole situation is waking up on the beach. On the beach. That's the only
Maybe we
thing.
should try it. We should we should do it for like 2 days and go outside of our comfort, or you go out of your comfort zone.
Well, you've done it
And go
already,
camping.
so
Okay, we'll do it together.
yeah.
Like a trip. So you can reach the island from various ports like Sfakia, Paliochora, Paleochora. Yeah. And trip lasts around 2 hours. There's also other smaller ports of Ayerumeli and Suya.
Suya. So it's Ayerumeli, Suya, and Ludro, which are smaller ports which you can reach the island. Oh my God, George, me and you have to go to these beaches one day.
I know they look
Suya
amazing.
is one of my favourite beaches in Hanya.
I think the main thing to note here is if you are going like no car at all on Crete, it's probably best to look at which of these ports is most accessible by bus.
Yeah.
So you can get from Chania Airport, which is the international airport, there are bus routes that will get you to the ports mentioned.
Yeah.
But obviously you'd want to check the bus times lining up with the ferry, so you're not arriving and the ferry went at like 9 a.m.
Plus,
and you've got the whole day.
Plus the fact that on Chania, on the island of Crete in general, and in Chania if you choose, because that's the region that would make more sense if you're going to go to Gavdos, so many taxis and transfers that you can refer to because it's a very busy island. So you don't have to just, I guess, depend on the bus if you don't want to. And if you, I guess if you want and you can, the taxi is also a great option to get you from A to B.
And I think it would be combined really well with the hustle and bustle of Crete if you wanted to hire a car, for example, on Crete or do stuff in Crete and then go to Gavdos to really switch off, decompress, be on the southernmost island of Europe and let us know about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anyone that's been.
We have a few, I know a few people that have been, and one of them I actually want to feature on as a guest on the episode. So Nico, that's you, in case you listen to this episode. But yeah, I haven't been to Gavdos. I've been to other remote islands off the coast of Crete. And definitely one that I want to go to at some point and switch off. I'm suspecting what to expect, given that I've been to some of the other secluded islands that we're going to speak about next.
And the final note on this one, fun fact, it's not really a fact, I've just thought about it as we were recording. So this island is Gavdos, but if you change one letter, you get not to be confused with the word Gavros, with an R, Gavros, which actually means whitebait. So if you see it in a restaurant, Gavros, it's usually fried whitebait, very, very nice fish. And so not to be confused, Gavdos and Gavros.
We're talking about islands and all he's thinking about is fish.
Food. You should be impressed.
That should have been me, George, but anyway.
It just came to my mind. So shall we move to the next island? Okay, drum roll please. Μικρές Kyklades, or in English, small Cyclades, hidden treasures of the Aegean.
Yeah, so here it's not just one island that we're talking about. We're actually talking about a cluster of islands. There are 6, 2 of which are uninhabited, so we'll be talking mainly about the 4. So the small Cyclades, or the Μικρές Kyklades, as George mentioned, are a group of islands consisting of Koufonisia, which is 2 islands, Άνω Koufonisi and Κάτω Koufonisi, Schinoussa, Donoussa, Ηρακλιά, and Keros. Κάτω Koufonisi and Keros are uninhabited. On Κάτω Koufonisi, you do have a few things happening, but it's mainly uninhabited. Now, from all of these islands, Donoussa is the furthest away from all of them. So the rest, you can easily island hop if you wanted to. They are a great place to loosen up. They're tiny islands. I think you can take cars, if I'm not mistaken. I know in Koufonisi for sure you can take cars, but you should prefer not to because it's easy to get around. Especially in Koufonisi, I recall that there was a boat taxi that would take you from one beach to the other, or there was a bus that would take you to the beaches, or you went on foot. So it was super easy to get around. The most popular of all of them is, of course, Koufonisia and Donousa. They're the most popular. And especially Koufonisi, which in the 90s, it was an extremely secluded island. And then at some point, I think about 5 to 10 years ago, it became extremely popular. It's an island that you can go for 4 or 5 days and feel that you've spent a month there. You can switch off, although I'm not too sure how busy it gets now in the summers compared to the past when I went, because I'm aware that they've built quite a few more hotels than those that existed when I used to go. And that is what would limit the amount of people that would get to the island. In Koufonisi, which is one of the most popular, as we mentioned, there's actually only one village, and that's Chora. So it's literally just one village and the beaches. That's it. And another thing that's really nice, a thing that's nice about this island is that you go there, you see the same people at the beach, same people in the afternoon. So you sort of like become one nice, big, happy family by the end of the first day. And it's a nice place to go and socialize, but
Are
also
these,
switch
sorry
off.
to interrupt, these islands, because they're quite small, and I presume accommodation is limited for, how many people might visit, do you get a lot of boats coming there in the day, and then in the evening it's much quieter when they all leave?
You do get boats coming, but not as many as you would see in other islands.
Yeah, the more popular
Yeah.
commercialized ones. Okay.
Now, all of these islands are connected to Athens via ferry, and most of them have daily routes from Athens. And additionally, you do have like a local service taking place from Naxos, because Naxos is an island which is literally just above the majority of them. So you have in the summer months, you have a daily route from Naxos, literally only heading to this cluster of islands. Now, a good point to mention is that Naxos also offers a domestic airport. So you could potentially fly there from Athens and then get this little local service. But also these islands are connected to neighboring islands within the Cyclades. So for example, if Mykonos as an airport made sense, you could potentially get to Mykonos, which has an international airport, and then you could take a ferry to one of these islands. And then I think that's a wrap. Shall we move on?
Which one was your favourite?
So personally, my personal favourite from all of them used to be Koufonisi before it became super popular. And then I have not been to Donousa. I absolutely love Skinosa. It's such a tranquil island. Iraklia, I loved it, but there's not many beaches. Like I think you have very few options of beaches that that are accessible. I'm not sure if you can get to the rest on a boat, but yeah, Iraklia has this very chilled vibe. But I think my favorite is Skinosa, and Skinosa is actually protected from the winds because it's kind of covered by the two other islands, by Iraklia and Koufonisi. So when the other ones are windy, these ones are kind of Skinosa.
That's good to bear in mind for the windy season.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, that's a wrap on the small Cyclades. Shall we get to the last one?
I think we should.
Right, drum roll, please. Okay, my Greek Islanders, the last island that we're going to touch on that you don't need a car is Chalki, a gem in the Dodecanese.
So as Maria said, this is in the Dodecanisa. It's a really small island near the island of Rhodes, which I'm sure everyone has heard of. It can be visited for a day trip, or probably nice a bit longer from Rhodes, so you can, get away from the bigger island, be in a really, really small island. It's connected to Rhodes, as we said, also Athens, by ferry or by flying. I think if you take the ferry, it's probably a really long way from Athens to get to Rhodes.
I think it's about 20 hours.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is. I would never consider it. I think it's like an hour flight. It's very popular for its beaches, its traditional villages, and the lazy atmosphere. I think this is quite common of those smaller islands that are not as big as like their ones that are nearby. It's another island that is car free, so you'll get around by foot, by bike. There is also the option of a donkey, although we don't recommend doing that. I feel like we're in 2023, donkeys should not longer be used for means of transport.
Agreed.
So I wouldn't recommend it, but you might want to do that. The island has a few beaches. The main one that we will talk about is Ayos Yorgos, obviously because it's got my name and it's a lovely beach. And there are also a few tavernas and restaurants on Chalki where you can enjoy some fresh seafood. Also, there's local wine, which sounds very interesting for a small island.
Yeah,
and I get the sense that this island... Sorry?
We need to check it out if they've got wine.
Oh, we do. I mean, it needs to be on your list to check out as the wine connoisseur. And I feel like it's a really nice island to de-stress, have a dip, have some food and relax away from the hustle and bustle of the bigger islands.
Exactly.
So that is your next one. And it's also, so Rhodes is really accessible with the international airport from Europe. There's, I don't know how many flights, but most places will, they fly to Rhodes because it's one of the most popular islands.
Very true.
So amazing. I think that is it. I'm sure there's others that we need to discover. We should try all these out next year and report back 1 year on. How did it go? What did we think? Did we get a selfie? Did we get lost? Did we manage to go camping?
The camping. Anyway, I think this sums it up. What do you think?
I think it does.
Yes. So I think this sums up the My Greek Island recommended islands to go car free. Now, let us know if you had any more to recommend. And if you go to any of these, please get in touch and let us know how you found them. And remember to tag us so we can share your favourite things and share the love. But before we go...
It is indeed that time of the episode when we all know what happens here. It's we give you our Greek word of the episode. And I think our listeners are probably ready to put one of these islands on their bucket list, because I know I am, and I'm kind of thinking we should have gone to Mikres Kykladas, the small Cyclades now.
I did recommend.
Although I'm really looking forward to Astypalia, but I'm also like we should have gone here.
Do you know what? When we were prepping for the episode, I actually had the same thought, and I was like, why didn't I not insist when I said? I know
you should have been. You were so indecisive this year.
I was,
and I kind of like go with the flow. So yeah, it should be on people's bucket list as it is for me. I know you've been to quite a few of them. So what do we think should be our phrase, Maria? What do you think?
I mean, what about the words for car free?
Oh, that's a good one. In the spirit of the episode, car free. Okay, so I think we can say it two ways. So we can say, well, without is Chorís. So Chorís, aftokínito, without a car. Or you can say Chorís, amáxi. It's two ways of saying it.
Exactly, amazing.
Are you going to repeat
Yes. So it's Χωρίς αυτοκίνητο or Χωρίς αμάξι.
A-star student, well done.
Thank you. We will leave the phonetical breakdown in the show notes so you can practice, and hopefully you will go to one of these islands χωρίς αυτοκίνητο.
Amazing. Okay, my Greek Islanders, thank you for listening. And I guess see you on the next episode.
Γεια σας.
Γεια σας.
Right, my Greek Islanders, this comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag @MyGreekIsland on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Ta leme.